Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zugu and today's video is going to be my review for The Storyteller by Jodi Picoult. This book is part of the project from Dora from the channel Books and Movies, Hall 76, celebrating the release of the concentration camps from the Holocaust, and there's also part of Dora's and Sandra's project from Ler Jodi Picoult, where each month they pick a book from Jodi and we read it as part to give to the community. Mostly people think he's a romantic author, and she tackles a lot of difficult subjects on her books, and that's how we want you to see how amazing Jodi is. Let's start to say this book is amazing. I gave it 5 stars. You can see here I marked a lot of things. I would mark more, but you will see from what I will say in this review that I will spend all my sticky notes on here because this book is amazingly written. In this book we follow Sage, who is a 25-year-old baker, and she's dealing with grief for her dying mother, and due to a problem that she has, she recludes herself. She has a relationship with a married man. She works on a bakery because she doesn't want the contact and don't want to be seen by the world. But in her grieving counseling, she met a man, a very old man, like in the 90s, with 95, named Joseph, and she starts to have a friendship with him until the time that he says, "I want you to kill me," and he explains why. He is a former Nazi, and because she is Jewish, he believes that she's entitled to kill him in a way to restore order to the world, and because he believes that he's being alive so long due to punishing from God or whatever for the atrocities that he made. This book is divided in 4 POVs. We have Sage POV, which is our main character. We have Joseph, who will recount his story from a young age till the military, how he entered the Nazi party and how he lived. We'll get a POV from Leo, who is an agent from government and works as a Nazi hunter, and we'll get Sage's grandmother, who is a survivor from the Holocaust, and Sage never make the connection and never thought of her grandmother as a survivor from the Holocaust. I simply love this book. I think as Jodi's one of the best books I've read, close to 90 minutes and house rules. The descriptions that Jodi made for the Nazi and the way that children were pulled up for the Nazi party and how they work their minds in a way to them to think that it's normal to hate the Jewish, to the description from Sage's grandmother for the concentration camps, how she lived in Auschwitz, and she moved a lot from camp to camp, how she struggled with her life with her best friend, the atrocities that they did, how all a simple thing has scraps from a cupcake was amazing for her, and how this monstrosity happened in the 20th century. I think this book is so relevant because for the moments that we see now, the rise of the extreme parties, we have to remember that this wasn't not long ago, and it could happen again, and we should not take light the Holocaust. It's not a topic that I usually read, but I know how horrible and how terrifying and terrible everything was during World War II, and we should not take in mind that no, that didn't happen, or it wasn't as worse as you painted. It was. Everything that you think you know, multiply by 1,000, and maybe we'll be closer to something that could be near what they experienced. I think the most important chapters was Joseph, because you'll see how the Germans manipulate their children and to convert themselves to the Nazi party, and how they work their way up to conquer almost Europe, and how they wanted to purify a race. From the grandmother Sage, I already say that, but the way she explained her life before the Holocaust and when she was living in the ghetto, and after when she moved to Auschwitz, how her life, and how sometimes people were privileged because she speaks German, so she got a little bit a better life because of that. She was useful for them. I think you will find the story so captivating that you will continue, you will cry, you will suffer as Minka, Sage grandmother, will recount the story, will feel so bad for her. But the story focuses on a lot of important topics, as is a person totally bad, is a moment in your life that turns you bad. It's all there are, if they all Nazis are bad overall, because we see that some of them didn't believe the beliefs and didn't even want to be part of it, but it was a law of survival. If they won't be part of that, they will be also killed and captured because they were on side of the Jewish. So it was a matter of surviving. And we will see that in some parts that people are more than what they show to you. One of the quotes that I have here is about how story repeats herself and how the people who survived the Holocaust tend to retell their stories. So people are aware and are prepared and are thinking of the signs that lead to that place. And in the beginning, another one that I really enjoy is about loss. Loss is more than just that, and grief is a great shapeshifter of emotion. And that's important because loss is much more than just losing someone, and losing in a way that can be physical but can be mentally with dementia. I think that what was amazingly done here. And one of the most important for me was there was no black and white. Someone who has been good their entire life could in fact do something evil. Anya was just capable of committing murder under the circumstances as any monster. So, and this shows that although the people could be good, at any moment of her life, they could commit horrible things and they could regret it. The end will shock you and you will not be prepared for what's going up. Everything that could be done I was not expecting at all. Overall, I really enjoyed this book. I totally recommend that you read it like yesterday because it's one of the best books I've read, and for this theme that I'm not so familiar with, I think it was a great introduction for this theme, and you will definitely enjoy it. So guys, this was my review for The Storyteller by Jodi Picoult. Tell me in the comments if you read any book from Jodi, if you are excited for reading this one, if you wanted. If you read any books from the World War II and Holocaust, which were your favorites. I'll post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and sometimes on Saturday, so I see you guys on my next video.